night, the Boston Celtics welcomed the Brooklyn Nets to town, and it was 139-96, a blowout in favor of Boston. Jason Tatum had 31 and Jaylen Brown had 26 for the Celtics, while Kyrie Irving scored 20 and Cam Thomas added 19 for Brooklyn. But the Nets struggled throughout, dropping to 4-7 since KD sprained his right knee on January 8th. Now, the Celtics have had the Nets number all season long. The C's won by 43 points, tied for the second largest win by any team this season. Despite the lopsided loss last night, the Nets still have the second shortest odds to win the Eastern Conference at plus 325. It's also worth noting that KD hasn't played in two of the three losses to the Celtics. And my friends, Monica McNutt and JWill, are here now to talk about this. Jay, I'm going to start with you on this one. How confident are you that the Nets can win the Eastern Conference?
First off, let me start here, Christine, on this, and Monica, bear with me for a second. I just want to give the Celtics the praise that they actually deserve on national TV. I think they are top to bottom the best team in the NBA. In my opinion, it is their championship to lose. I know teams will contend. I see what Denver's doing if they can remain healthy. I know what the Memphis Grizzlies are. I never count out the Golden State Warriors. I see Sacramento. I see Philadelphia with Joel Embiid. I got what else is happening. Milwaukee with Chris Middleton back and Giannis. Their small ball lineup is working. But this team is complete. Malcolm Brogdon really helps. Jason Tatum with his 30th. He has 30 points last night. His 29th 30-point game this season. And it was a statement game. I think this team feels a certain way about the Brooklyn Nets. It's the 10th straight time they beat the Brooklyn Nets. 10th straight. They actually beat them last year in the playoffs, right? Sweep. These guys defensively, top to bottom. Jason Tatum is on the top of his game, and Jaylen Brown, I think, is the best shooting guard in the game of basketball right now with the way that he defends and how he's attacking the rim. So that's to give the Celtics praise. I am extremely concerned about the Brooklyn Nets. And I know that KD is out. It is very similar to what we saw last year with the Nets with KD being out. But if it's Jacques Vaughn talking about knee soreness for Ben Simmons, who just missed his third straight game, what is going on with Ben Simmons? And will he be there when it matters the most? When he leaves the game, Kevin Durant, who's sitting on the bench, does not even look at him. Okay? It goes to show you how KD feels about it a little bit. TJ Warren didn't play last night. I know guys are out. But this is one of the smallest teams in basketball. I mean, Nick Claxton at 6'11", who is a skinny bean, right? I get his athleticism and the skill set is there, but doesn't have the size of the frame. And you see him on the court, like they need to make moves, Monica, here. I don't know what Sean Marks is doing, and we'll see by the trade deadline. I advise they go get a guy like Mo Bamba, who seems not to be playing as much, for the Orlando Magic. He can give them size defensively, allow them to press up. But they have a lot of decisions that they have to make. And I think Philly and I think Milwaukee are better teams right now than the Brooklyn Nets. And the Celtics made a statement. I mean, that just wasn't a slight beatdown. That was a barnyard beatdown that they gave them last night, a statement to the rest of the league about where the Celtics are going and how much they want to win a championship.
I appreciate the way you started your answer, Jay, because I actually had a similar conversation with ATH yesterday. I actually got Jason Tatum for me as MVP right now, but that's a whole side conversation. To the question about the Nets, we are in an interesting place as we consume the league that we all love and adore, where we do this if healthy. And I think when some folks have the conversation, if healthy is in lowercase letters, and for some teams, if healthy is in all caps. To me, it has to be in all caps when you talk about the Brooklyn Nets. And even with the greatness that is Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, which is undeniable, when you have the conversation top to bottom, the depth of the Nets becomes a concern. Where you put Ben Simmons in late game situations, and honestly, for all that Nick Claxton brings, who I love and think has made tremendous strides in terms of wanting to be solidified as a defensive rim protector in this league, shooting less than 50% from the free throw line in a tight ball game is not it. And so I think, how much confidence do I have? Not a ton, because you nailed it in terms of the three teams that are, two for sure, that are better in my mind than the Brooklyn Nets right now. Philly has been playing really good ball as of late. I think with them, I wonder sometimes about sustainability. They hit these weird losing streaks sometimes, or drop some games that really have you scratching your head. And so I think ultimately the thing that propels the Nets in this conversation is, Kevin Durant wants to play basketball and is going to do whatever he can to play basketball. And you know how great he is. And so I understand why we continue to have this conversation. And I don't even think that the margin is particularly wide, Jay, because if we get into a 7-game series, anything can happen with those guys on the floor. I'm just not confident that we would necessarily go to 7 with the Brooklyn Nets. And so I understand the question. There's a lot of firepower there. But I think when you start getting into the nuances that make up teams with experience, teams with chemistry, teams with continuity, teams that have been on the floor together through the course of a season, all of that will matter down the stretch.
And Monica, last thing I'll say very quickly is that there are no more excuses now, right? Like Kevin Durant is there to play basketball. You went through the offseason ordeal with him. Him and Joe Tsai sat down. They are locked in. Kyrie, you haven't heard a blip from Kyrie. He's just been hooping. Sean Marks made the move, right, getting rid of James Harden because James Harden went out for Ben Simmons. So for me, this all comes back to Sean Marks. All the attention now is on Sean Marks and what moves you make before the trade deadline to get this 7-11 crew that has been waiting and has all the talent to win it, but now they need size and they need some additional pieces. Sean Marks, you're up.
Hi, my name is Nia Pearson. I'm from Decatur, Georgia, and I am a senior mass communications major at Grambling State University. And my question for you guys is, who do you think is going to win the NBA championship this year?
It's a good one. Monty, you go first.
Literally this morning, I was like, oh, Pumpkin, that's a great question. But have you watched the league this year? I reserve the right to change my mind officially after the All-Star break with who I'm going to roll for the rest of the season. But coming into this season, why not, Jay?
No, you got to stick with it, Monica, right now. Right now, February 2nd.
Right now?
I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to give you an out clause in this contract. Ain't no way.
All right, let me just give you my story, and then I will pick my answer for the remainder of the season.
A story.
I came into the season thinking it was going to be the Milwaukee Bucks. I did. I thought it was going to be the Milwaukee Bucks this season. But I have been so impressed with this Boston Celtics squad. Now, my hesitancy on going all the way in there, Jay, is that I don't know if I'm completely in on this not timeouts in the clutch, let the guys figure it out strategy from Joe Mazzulla. And so I'm just a little nervous about that, and I'm a little nervous about health for the Celtics. I think as we saw last year, how Robert Williams feels and plays down the stretch is going to matter. I came into the season thinking that Malcolm Brogdon had a potential to be a sixth man of the year coming off the bench because I think he makes that much of a difference. Hasn't quite panned out that way, but he's been great for them. So I guess in this moment, February 2nd, I'm going with the Celtics because JWill made me pick.
Okay, all right. So I said before, I think Boston is the best team in NBA right now, top to bottom. But the question around Robert Williams, you are exactly right, Monica, on that. His durability is something that concerns me. We will continue to see more about Joe Mazzulla and how he handles, post All-Star break when the tension really rises and things get really serious for this team. I do think Philly, Milwaukee, and Brooklyn will make it extremely interesting to come out of the East. That's why I'm going to throw the dark horse at you here. The Denver Nuggets.
Tell me.
The Denver Nuggets. I'm just trying to tell you, the West is, look, I like Memphis, I like Sacramento, I like other teams. Golden State will be there, but it does feel like the gauntlet that a team has to go through in the East to get there, and what Denver is going through in the West, it does feel like it's perfectly set up for Denver to win the whole thing if they remain healthy. Just saying.
I think that's a great pick, Jay. And I will just say this, when we have these conversations, it's not like there's this chasm of space between different teams. To me, this is the healthiest we've seen Denver in the past, 3 seasons? 2 for sure.
Yes.
And I do think this might be a year where they get over the hump.
I like the Nuggets picks. Guys, we want to get another question in here, but you got to keep the answers a little bit shorter so we can get all of the questions in here. All right, take a listen to this one.
My name is Jay Jenkins from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'm an engineering tech major, and my question is, who you think the most underrated player in the NBA is?
Ooh.
JWill, we'll start with you on that one.
Did you see the Knicks game the other night versus the Lakers? I'm gonna go with Jalen Brunson. I know the contract is gonna look like pennies in a couple of years when a new NBA contract comes along with the TV contracts. It's gonna look like the best deal there is in the NBA because he changes the culture, that blue collar mentality. Julius Randle, give him the ball, Monica. You're being double teamed. He is the all-star for this squad. It's Jalen Brunson.
I was on the radio call for that game, Jay. I feel you. I love that pick. And I'm kicking myself for not coming up with it on my own. I actually am going to go with Desmond Bane, though, as someone who's still underrated in this league. His name is starting to come up a lot more, I think, as people really are watching Memphis closely. Yes, Ja Morant leads the way, leads the charge, sets the identity, sets the tone for that squad. But I think Desmond Bane, Memphis is going to be in a tricky spot in terms of trying to hold on to all these young guys moving forward if they want to establish a dynasty or whatever they I guess you got to win the first one to be a dynasty. But anyway, if they want to establish a long window for them to compete. So I got Desmond Bane.
I love that one. I covered Bane while he was at TCU. All right, listen to question number 3.
I'm Onaje Morris, a senior mass communication major from Compton, California. And my question to you is, which is the best team you ever seen not win a championship?
Ooh, that's a good one. Monty, you start us off.
This one was pretty easy for me, y'all, because I just had to go recently. And I would say the 2019 Warriors. I think what the Raptors did was incredible, but that Warriors squad was so very good. I did not see the Raptors making a difference, or excuse me, not just making a difference, but winning that title. So I think that Warriors team was really great.
I was at that game too, Monica, where KD that torn Achilles, and then seeing Clay go out too. It was tough to watch the Warriors lose, but I'll keep the same team and go a couple of years before. 2015, 2016 Warriors team, up 3-1. Up 3-1. Draymond gets kicked out. LeBron James goes on the most miracle comeback down 3-1, and this team 73-9. I mean, they had the most wins during the regular season. I mean, so for me, that team was set up to do it all, and to lose it to LeBron, that changed the legacy of LeBron James being down 3-1. I ain't never seen anything like that before in my life.
That's when he said he was the GOAT, y'all.
I can't count. Thanks
That's the moment when I became the GOAT.
Students for submitting those questions. I feel like we have some future producers.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.